العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Alhamdulillah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had gathered us for His sake, and we know the reward of gathering for the sake of Allah. Jazakallah khair. جزاكم الله خيرا. الله يحفظكم. بارك الله فيك. Having this gathering for the sake of Allah to learn, and learning, taking steps for learning, those steps are themselves steps to Jannah. Learning, taking steps for knowledge are steps for Jannah. Especially, alhamdulillah, this is also a grace that we are gathering on the Sunnah, learning from the Sunnah book and the authentic. We don't say, as I said before, we don't say authentic Sunnah because we don't have da'if Sunnah. We don't acknowledge anything called Sunnah but da'if. When we talk about the Sunnah, we mean by this the authentic narrations to the Prophet ﷺ. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. We reached yesterday to the statement of Tahawyah, وَنَتَّبِعُ السُّنَّةَ وَالْجَمَاعَةَ. الالتزام بالسنة والجماعة ونجتنب الشذوذ والخلاف والفرقة. We follow the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ and the community. Tradition, Sunnah and Jama'ah, both are always stick together. I'm going to explain why. We follow the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ and the companion and the community of the Muslims, and we abandon deviation, differences and sectarianism. This is a great matter. Asl. It's a source, it's a base among the bases of Ahl Sunnah. Sunnah and Jama'ah. Why Sunnah and Jama'ah? Isn't it enough to say Ahl Sunnah and that's all? Why it has to be Jama'ah? Let's first relate to you the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam when he said, إِنَّهُ مَنْ يَعِشْ مِنْكُمْ فَسَيَرَى اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Who will be living among you is going to be seeing a great difference. So, that means when you reach that time, فَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي. Now I want you to remember this. What did the Prophet say? عَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي. Remember this. Keep it in your mind now. Let it be present. وَسُنَّةِ الْخُلَفَاءِ الرَّاشِدِينَ الْمَهْدِيِّينَ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ. And the sunnah of the khulafa, rightly guided Rashidun after me. تَمَسَّكُوا بِهَا. Hold it fast. وَعَضُّوا عَلَيْهَا بِالنَّوَاجِذِ. Yani even not only by hand, even if you can bite it, bite it. وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَمُحْدَثَاتُ الْأُمُورِ. And beware, be mindful of the muhdathat, innovations. فَإِنَّ كُلَّ مُحْدَثَةٍ بِدْعَةٍ. Every muhdatha is bid'ah, innovation. وَكُلَّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ وَكُلَّ ضَلَالَةٍ فِي النَّارِ. So every muhdatha is bid'ah, innovation. And every innovation is misguidance. And every misguidance is in hell. How many times the Prophet mentioned the word kul? Let me see. 1. كل محدثة بدعة. كل بدعة ضلالة. 2. كل ضلالة في النار. 3. Do those 3 kul, do they mean everything? Yes or no? Every bid'ah or some bid'ah? Look, if you say that, no, not every, But the Prophet here is saying kul. They say yes, but it is amun makhsus. They start to manipulate games. We say to them, okay, so you have to use the word kul either for everything or for something. Yani how many times you have kul here in this hadith? 3 times. Why the first one, kul doesn't work its function comprehensively? Why? Why kul? The first kul means some, while the other 2 kul, they means everything. Explanation. Every innovation is misguidance. They say no. Some, not all. But wait a minute, you are opposing the Prophet ﷺ. Fine, let's continue with them. وَكُلُّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالًا. And every innovation is misguidance. They say, no, there are some good bid'ah. Okay, what shall we do? طيب, وَكُلُّ ضَلَالَةٍ فِي النَّارِ. And every misguidance is in hell. They should say in this hadith, no, not every misguidance is in hell. Because the word kul, either you use the 3 kul for the comprehensive meaning, or you use the 3 for some, not all. If you say not every bid'ah dalala, then you should say not every dalala is in the fire. Yeah, go ahead. They're in trouble. Now, see, they have another playing game. There is a hadith in Sahih Muslim which says, whoever issued a good sunnah, he'll be rewarded. And those who work the same, they'll be rewarded also. And whoever issued a bad sunnah, he'll be rewarded badly. You remember this hadith? They say this hadith is the evidence that not every bid'ah is dalala, that there's good bid'ah and there's bad bid'ah. Because the hadith says, whoever made good sunnah and whoever made bad sunnah. Oh, wait a minute, come. You're playing games here. Why? Because in this hadith you have the word sunnah and you have the word bid'ah. In one hadith the Prophet said, follow my sunnah and be careful of the bid'ah. So how come the sunnah be the same meaning of bid'ah? What's wrong with those people? In one hadith the Prophet said, follow my sunnah and avoid bid'ah. And they come to us and they say, bid'ah means sunnah. I don't know if they're awake or not. This hadith is authentically narrated in An-Nasa'i, Sunan An-Nasa'i, authentically. So in one hadith, he's saying, follow the sunnah and avoid the bid'ah. That means there's distinction. How do you make no distinction between sunnah and bid'ah? That's amazing. That's why scholars say in this hadith, about this hadith, when the Prophet ordered the sunnah, he forbade the bid'ah. In the same hadith, when he ordered to follow the sunnah, he forbade the bid'ah. So there's distinction, there's difference, they're not the same. Now we come to the question, why Ahlul Sunnah and Jama'ah? Isn't it enough to say sunnah without Jama'ah? Why do you have to mention the word Jama'ah? Number one, because the one who claimed to be following the sunnah, he will not be truthfully following it until he'll be agreeing with the first Jama'ah, the Prophet and his companions. Because people bring new understanding. Okay? They bring new understanding. That's why I said to one person in one of my debates, I brought to him 2 statements here. Every bid'ah is dalala. Not every bid'ah is dalala. So I put the 2 in front of him and I said, choose. Which one is correct? I put him in trouble. Choose which one is correct. He was smart. He knew that he fell in the trap. He can't get out of it. He said, no, every bid'ah is dalala. This is correct. But what about Umar? He said, ni'matil bid'atu hadhihi. See? They're contradicting themselves. Umar said, ni'matil bid'atu hadhihi. He's talking about the first thing that had been done, and that is Tahawyah. It is, yes, this is good bid'ah because the Prophet started it. And bid'ah means something to be started, linguistically. If this is bid'ah, this is the best bid'ah because the Prophet started it. And all scholars said, Umar here used the linguistic meaning of the word bid'ah here, not the shari'i meaning. The evidence, even the Ash'aris said, yes, you should not be saying that, especially the four rightly guided caliph, they had made bid'ah. You're not allowed to say that. Who said that? As-Subki, the Ash'ari Subki. In his book, Al-Fatawa, first volume, page 58, he said, you should not describe any of what the companions, the Khulafa al-Rashidun, what they did, that it is bid'ah. So what we do now here? That means Umar was referring to, especially when the Prophet said, this is, when Umar said this is good bid'ah, it returns to what? There's ambiguity here. We should not be relying on the ambiguity of what Umar said and then ignoring what the Prophet said. Let's say for the sake of argument that Umar made a mistake and he said, yes, there is good bid'ah. Let's say for the sake of argument. Everyone that says something different of what the Prophet said, we ignore, we throw what the Prophet said because of him? Is this what the Prophet taught us? That's not fair. So the first reason why we call it Jama'ah, because the one who claimed to be following the Sunnah, he should be agreeing in his following the same thing, the same way of the Salaf al-Salih. If he disagree, that means he claimed to be following the Sunnah, but he's not of the Sunnah because he is not agreeing with the Jama'ah. That's number one. Number two, because when you agree with the Jama'ah, the unity of the Ummah will be fulfilled. Number three, because the Jama'ah, as we mentioned before, the Jama'ah is what you agree with the truth, even if you are one person. Let's say in Ashton here we have one person that follows the Jama'ah. He is the Jama'ah himself. One person, yes, he is Jama'ah. So you can use the word Jama'ah for everyone that follow the first Jama'ah, the Prophet and his companions. Is this clear? Right. Number four, because the victory was achieved by the first Jama'ah. The victory of Allah to the Prophet was by this Jama'ah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِن يُرِيدُوا أَن يَخْدَعُوكَ, if they intended to deceive you, فَإِنَّ حَسْبَكَ اللَّهُ, then Allah is sufficient for you. هُوَ الَّذِي أَيَّدَكَ بِنَصْرِهِ, it is He who supported you, granted you victory. By Him, by His victory, supported you by His victory, وَبِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and by the believers. By His victory and by the believers, yani Sahaba. لو أنفقت ما في الأرض جميعا ما ألفت بين قلوبهم, if you were to spend all what the earth contains in order to achieve this unity, ما ألفت بين قلوبهم, you won't be able to unite their hearts. ولكن الله ألف بينهم, but it was Allah who united them. So to get united, alaykum salam, it is not something that you can do by your effort. Even the Prophet could not do by his own effort. It was granted to him by Allah. So Allah united the hearts of the Sahaba. By what? By this great straight path. No wonder when you enter a masjid and you find different followers of different paths, you won't wonder that there is disagreement in the masjid. And the masjid is just like volcano. At any time it will erupt. Correct? The atmosphere of the masjid is not good. People will never get united unless they say, well, let's use the sunnah, the true, the authentic sunnah as a judge between us. When they say we are ready to commit ourselves to it, then the unity is on the way. So that's why we say توحيد المسلمين بعد توحيد الله. The unity of the Muslims after the unity of Allah. Unity of Allah, that means the oneness of Allah. So to become one, you have to achieve the oneness of Allah. طيب. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَن يُشَاقِقِ الرَّسُولِ مِن بَعْدِ مَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ الْهُدَى. And whoever opposes the messenger after guidance had come clear to him, وَيَتَّبِعْ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and follows a way other than the way of the mu'mineen, the Sahaba. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the way and the practice and the belief of the Salaf is a model for those who come after. Look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, whoever chooses for himself a way other than the way of the believers, نُوَلِّهِ مَا تَوَلَّى, we will give him what he has taken, وَنُصْلِهِ جَهَنَّمْ, and then drive him into hell, وَسَاءَتْ مَصِيرًا, and evil it is as a destination. You want to choose other way than the way of the companions? Go ahead. It will lead you to hell. That's what Allah says. This is in Surah An-Nisa, ayah number 115. This is very important. In another ayah, in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 122. فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ بِهِ فَقَدْ اهْتَدَوْا. Allah is addressing the companions. In this ayah, He's talking to the companions, saying to them, if those people will be believing in the same belief that you have, O companions of Rasulullah, then they are guided. So the companions are guided or not? If you choose any other guidance other than their guidance, it won't be accepted. So for example, if people seek to get closer to Allah by celebrating the Prophet's birthday, we say to them, wait a minute, is this ibadah? Do you do that to get closer to Allah? They say yes. So to do something to get closer to Allah, this is a matter of ibadah. To pay zakah, to get closer to Allah, this is ibadah. To make tawaf, this is a matter of ibadah. Right? You seek to get closer to Allah. Likewise, is this issue, celebrating the birthday of the Prophet, ﷺ, is this ibadah? They say, maybe not. How come? You seek to get closer to Allah by doing this, so it should be ibadah. Then they confess, saying yes. But this is ibadah that the Prophet didn't do. Why do you do? So did you discover something the Prophet did not really pay attention to? Neither him, nor the companions, nor the tabi'een, Bismillah, mashallah, except who? Al-Mu'izz li-Din Allah al-Fatimi al-Batini al-Shi'i. He is the first one that started it. I don't like to say it, but in this issue, many Sunni people are Shia in this issue. They are Shia in this issue, but they don't realize it. So why do we say Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah? Because if you claim that you are following the Sunnah, you have to be classified that you are the Jama'ah. You represent the same belief that those first Jama'ah had. And after that, it doesn't matter whether you are billions following that Jama'ah or if you are one person following that Jama'ah. Both of you, the billion and the one person, will be described as Jama'ah if you follow that Jama'ah. And because the Jama'ah, the unity, can be achieved by following the Sunnah. So the Sunnah will be consequating to Jama'ah, to the unity. I hope you understand now why it's being called Jama'ah, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. طيب. And the bid'ah is defined as ما أحدث في الدين مما ليس منه. What had been done firstly in matter of deen, in something that it is not of it. The Prophet didn't do it. That's why sometimes I keep sticking with my question to those in my debates. I say, why? Just tell me why the Prophet didn't do it. They keep rambling, going here and there. Then I keep asking the same question. Why the Prophet didn't do it? It's important. There is nothing that you can, because the Prophet said it, there is nothing that drives you closer to Allah, but I have told you to do. There is nothing that drives you closer to hell, but I warned you not to do. So why do you do what he did not do? This is the question. Some people say, oh, the companions, they were busy in jihad. They did not have time to do it. They were busy in jihad. Bismillah, mashallah. Why? I mean, if it takes 1 second. The Prophet, despite his long, big schedule of business, that did not make him to forget praying Sunnat al-Fajr, Sunnat al-Asr. And the companions the same. Don't make lies. Some of them said to me, because they were filled with his love, they saw him, but no, we did not see him. I'm about to cry. We did not see him. That's why we celebrate. Crocodile tears. And I said to them, well, wait a minute. There is a generation that they are better than you by the testimony of the Prophet, and they did not see the Prophet. Who are those? Tabi'een. They love him more than you. They did not see him. They did not celebrate. This is justification. For what? To return to the Jahiliyyah of the Shia. They started it. They started it. This is a fact. طيب. I want you to remember this hadith, this athar of Ibn Umar. They say that Umar said, نعمة البدعة هذه. طيب, take this from the son of Umar. كل بدعة ضلالة وإن رآها الناس حسنة. Every bid'ah is misguidance, even if people saw it to be حسنة. Narrated by Abu Tahir al-Faqih وأبي سعيد ibn Abi Amr عن عبيد الله بن المنادي عن هشام الغاز عن شبابة عن أبي العباس الأصم عن نافع عن ابن عمر. Golden narration, golden chain of narration. All the narrators are authentic. Narrated by الطحاوية himself narrated it. Sheikh al-Albani said it is authentic. So I want you to remember this. I don't know if you're gonna remember the chain of narration. The record is available, inshallah. أبي طاهر الفقيه وأبي سعيد بن أبي عمرو عن محمد بن عبيد الله المنادي عن شبابة عن أبي العباس الأصم عن هشام الغاز عن نافع عن ابن عمر. And we know, people of hadith know that the narration عن نافع عن مالك عن نافع عن عبد الله بن عمر, they call it golden chain of narration. So take it. He says, Ibn Umar, every innovation is misguidance, even if people consider it to be guidance. We finished this. I'll be having, inshallah, special lecture. It may take, it will be in 2 stages, in two sections about bid'ah. All details in what people need, because we need to be skillful. Because you can see today, people either they have 2 problems: shirk, in which they call it tawassul; misguidance, in which they call it good bid'ah. People are really drowning in these issues. There must be salvation for the ummah, and Allah doesn't plot for you as long as if you are not on His way. And today they say to us, we are the reformers, alhamdulillah, we are majority. Who are you? You are minority. We say, yeah, that's why we have the problem. Because you're the majority. Once you become the majority and you're the minority, see the difference? You see the difference. You want Allah to plot for you against the kuffar, but you are rebellious. You're following your desire. You're doing what you desire, thinking that you're following the way. You're not. Then Tahawyah said, وَنُحِبُّ أَهْلَ الْعَدْلِ وَالْأَمَانَةِ حُبَّ أَهْلِ الْعَدْلِ مِنْ كَمَالِ الْإِيمَانِ وَنُبْغِضُ أَهْلَ الْجَوْرِ وَالْخِيَانَةِ. He said, we love the people of justice and trustworthiness, and we hate the people of injustice and treachery. Now, he's talking about mahabbah. نُحِبُّ أَهْلَ الْعَدْلِ وَالْأَمَانَةِ. We love the people of justice and trustworthiness. Mahabbah is a heart kind of action. It's the action of the heart. Tasbih is the action of the finger, for example, and the tongue. Love is the action of the heart. That's why among the actions of the heart is loving Allah, is an action of the heart. To love Allah. And love is divided into two categories. A natural kind of love, just like you love your family, you love your wife, you love your children, you love your friends. You have a love to your mother, even if she is non-Muslim. Okay? You have a love to your wife. You may be having one of the people of the book, a woman that is from the people of the book. You may have some love to her. That doesn't enter in the matter of worship. You love to eat food. There are people who pray, and while they're praying they say, I'm hungry, I want to finish my prayer to go and eat. Right, Sophia? Does this happen sometimes? Yeah. Doesn't happen to you, it happens to me. Okay. But the first one is loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is the greatest kind of worship. To love Allah. Truthful love. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَتَّخِذُ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ أَنْدَادًا يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Among people are those who take equal objects to Allah, loving them as they love Allah. They love them just like they love Allah. Allah did not say they love them more. And even that, this is shirk. They love them equally to their love to Allah. But Allah said then, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. But as for the believers, أَشَدُّ حُبًّا. Their love to Allah is ever stronger. Allah did not deny that the believers, they might love something, but their love to Allah is greater. شوي أيوة. There is a love that will be terminated, but there is love that will never terminate. The love to Allah will never terminate. The love to your children may terminate when there is an interceptor between Iman and Kufr. And I love that story if you read it in the Quran, in Surah Hud. When Allah ordered the sky to shower the earth, and the earth to bring up water from even inside, and the level of the water escalated. Now Noah can see his son. He was speaking to him, my son, come and join with the believers in the ark. قال سآوي إلى جبل يعصمني من الماء. He said, I will shelter myself, secure myself in the highest mountain, which will be protecting me from the water. Look what the father said, with his compassion, with his love to his son. قال لا عاصم اليوم من أمر الله إلا من رحم. Ya Allah, what a beautiful ayah. Allahu Akbar. It's great. He said, there is no protector, there is no preventer now from Allah except whom Allah granted mercy. Then, cut, as they say in the media. There's a cut here. Suddenly, وَحَالَ بَيْنَهُمَا الْمَوْجُ فَكَانَ مِنَ الْمُغْرَقِينَ. And the wave stepped on between the father and the son. Then the son became one of those drowned ones. It's horrible. It's so beautiful. You see, the father loves his son. There is a love. Allah said it when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was so keen that his uncle will die on Iman. And he was insisting at the last moment of his death, Ya Am, qulha, say La ilaha illallah. So I'll be intervening for you, I'll be interceding for you at the Day of Judgment. Just say it. But there was Shaitan standing beside next, saying to Abu Talib, are you going to give up the way of your grandfather Abdul Muttalib? He was intimidating him. As if he's saying, your fame will be bad if you die. People will be speaking against you, that you went against the way of your grandfather Abdul Muttalib. It is true that Abu Talib was defending the Prophet, but he is a man of life. That's why he was careful. He was caring about what will be said about him if he died. Did you get it? Subhanallah. Then the Prophet said, I'll keep asking Allah's forgiveness unless I'll be forbidden from that. Then you know the ayah. إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. You do not guide whom you love, but Allah guides whom He will. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ayah is considering a sort of love that the Prophet had for his uncle despite his shirk. So this is what we call the natural love. But it should not be exceeding the limits of loving Allah. When it will be going against the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we disconsider the love of anyone. Khalas. Just like the mother of Sa'd. She said, didn't your religion say that you should be obedient to your mother, you should be righteous? Okay, you should be obeying me. Leave the religion of Muhammad. He said, I can't do this. She said, I'm going to fast until I die. And people will be saying after me that you are unrighteous to your mother. Then he said to her, oh mom, you know how much I love you. But wallahi, if you have 100 souls that will be dying because of hunger, so that I'll leave this religion, I won't. Then instantly, after hearing this, she says, bring me the food. Bring me the food. Khalas. And she was supplicating Allah against her son. So any kind of love should not be equal, or should not be intercepting your love to Allah. This is a line, as they say, this is a red line. Your love to Allah is a red line. Should not be exceeded. I like this ayah. الأخلاء يومئذ بعضهم لبعض عدو إلا المتقين يا عبادي لا خوف عليكم اليوم ولا أنتم تحزنون. Wallahi, this ayah is ready to let the mountains be exposed. Wallahi, to be exploded. What kind of ayah is this? It's in Surah Al-Zukhruf. It's in Surah Al-Zukhruf. Let me, I don't know if I can bring the translation now. I can, inshallah. It's so beautiful. Al-Akhilla. Al-Akhilla is the plural of Khalil. Is the plural of Khalil. Khalil is much stronger than friend. Okay? For example, you are my Habib, my beloved. But when I say you are my Khalil, That's why the Prophet ﷺ was not allowed to take anyone as Khalil for him. Why? Because he's the Khalil of Allah. And this is special for Allah. Because that proves that the love of the Prophet to Allah is something really significant and special. It's not only love. So that's why some Sufis, they say, oh, Rasulullah is Habibullah. You know, they use the word Habibullah. We say, no, he's not only Habib. He's more than that. That's not enough. What we know is better than what you know. He is Khalilullah. So the word al-akhilla, close friend. Khalil is close friend. Close friend. So Allah is saying in this ayah, close friends that day will be enemies to each other except for the righteous, the God-fearing ones. O my servants, no fear will there be concerning you this day, nor will you grieve. Al-akhilla. This is everlasting love that will not terminate. Loving Allah and loving people for the sake of Allah. And the more you love Allah, the more you will feel loving those who fear Allah. Your love to them will increase as long as your love to Allah increases. Now, what is the value of loving one another for the sake of Allah? We're talking about the unity of the Muslims. This is also one of the important factors to get the Muslims united. But if our methodology differs, this is Diyobandi, this is Naqshbandi, this is Bandi, this is Rifa'i, this is etc. Saharwardi, this is, they all differ in their methodologies. How can the Muslims love one another? How can they get united? Tell me, by the sake of Allah. They will never get united. The Sunnah will be unifying them. The Sunnah, the methodology of the Sahaba will be unifying them. Other than that, don't waste your time. Do you know what the person who was given the good news entered Jannah? Enter Jannah. The good Muslim is not selfish, and Allah will be inspiring to him some close friends of believers. They used to be living with him, praying with him, fasting with him. The believer, before he put his foot to make one step inside Jannah, he'll be remembering his brother for the sake of Allah. Oh Allah, there are brothers. They used to be praying with us, fasting with us, performing pilgrimage with us. We don't see them here. Then Allah will be saying, go to the fire and see, where are they in hell? If they're in hell, bring them out. You bring them out. They'll be remembering their brothers at that time. See the value of brotherhood? Then they will go. And they will be recognizing them, because the fire will not be demolishing, distorting, disguising their faces. That's why the fire will be touching from those who are believers but they committed sins. The fire will be touching them except for what? Faces. And mawatin as-sujud min ibn Adam. The spots of his sujood will never be touched by hell. The hands, the nose, the forehead, the knees, the toes will never be touched by hell. But he's in hell. Yes. Allah can do whatever He wants. Those spots, those members which they used to be engaged in making sujood, prostrating to Allah, will never be touched by hell. And their faces will be recognized. So they'll be recognizing them. They will be taking them out. Among them who will be afterwards After Ahlul Jannah enter Jannah, they'll be recognized. But not by them necessarily, by the shafa'ah of Allah. Who will be saying, ذهبت شفاعة الشافعين. The shafa'ah of those who gave shafa'ah had terminated. وبقيت شفاعة أرحم الراحمين. And there remains the shafa'ah of the most merciful one, who is mostly merciful than those who have mercy. Then Allah, by His two blessed hands, will be bringing out from hell much more numbers of people, more than those who gave shafa'ah had brought out. Yani the number is not compared by Allah's mercy. Now, what the people of Jannah will be doing to them? They'll be saying, "Oh, people of Jannah, bring water from the river." There's a river called Nahr al-Hayah, the river of life. They'll be bringing water and will be pouring on their mu'min who got extremely black, yani tafaham. How would you say tafaham? You know what do you call it? Blackened. They'll be pouring on them the water from the river of life, and they will be growing, regrowing. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be enabling them to enter the paradise. So you can see the mission, the love of those Muslim brothers to them. Even they are sinful, they committed sins, but they'll be remembering them. Don't forget the value of the brotherhood. When you remember this hadith, the brotherhood is a great, wallahi, it's a great ni'mah in Islam. It's a great ni'mah. So I love this ayah. الْأَخِلَّاءُ يَوْمَئِذٍ بَعْضُهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ عَدُوٌّ إِلَّا الْمُتَّقِينَ. Those who used to be close friends to one another, okay, in drinking, taking drugs, they used to be close friends. They will be enemies against one another. You, it's because of you. No, you. Each one there'll be enemies disputing in hell. While the Muslim brothers, they'll be very caring for their brothers who are still, they are believers, but they were punished temporarily. Allahu Akbar. Islam is great. Islam is great. The Prophet said that before he entered Jannah, he said that when the believer remembers his brothers that he doesn't find with them, he will be arguing with Allah, not less than the way a partner argues with his partner about something in life. He said, just like that, he'll be arguing with Allah. Oh Allah, they used to be with us. Then Allah will be saying to them, go. And whoever you find, bring. They will go. They will find some. They will take them out. Then I will be saying to them, go again. And when they go again, they will find more. Then for the third time, He will be saying to them, go more. Go and look, you will find. Then they went and they found. Then after that, He will be saying to them, go again and try to find. They will be saying, oh Allah, we swear by you that khalas, we don't find anyone among our friends in hell. This is great, so beautiful. Allahu Akbar. I love what Ibrahim said ﷺ to his people. وَقَالَ إِنَّمَا اتَّخَذْتُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ أَوْثَانًا مَّوَدَّةَ بَيْنِكُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. It's a lovely word from Ibrahim. I never heard something like this. He said to his people while he was advising them, you have taken apart from Allah, wathan, awthan, idols, apart from Allah, as a matter of complementary between one another. Just like we hear today, Christians say, oh, we don't believe in Christianity, but it's a matter of sociability. As a regular social issue, we go to church every Sunday. We know they're wrong, but we belong to the community. We know they're wrong, but we belong to, it's a social issue. Ibrahim is saying, You have taken apart from Allah idols as a matter of complementary between yourselves. ثُمَّ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ Then at the day of judgment, يَكْفُرُ بَعْضُكُمْ بِبَعْضٍ Each one of you will be denying the other. وَيَلْعَنُ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا And each one of you will be cursing the other for that bad result that they have ended in. Subhanallah. It's a beautiful ayah. It's in the same surah, Surah Al-Zukhruf. Among the 7 who will be shaded under Allah's shade at the day of judgment, something is about love. What? Can you remind me?
Yeah, about loving his brother.
وَرَجُلَانِ تَحَابَّا فِي اللَّهِ 2 men, they loved one another for the sake of Allah. Rajulan, he didn't say a man and woman. So don't say to a woman, I love you for the sake of Allah. Be careful. Well, that may happen, he's chatting. Astaghfirullah. Anyway. Rajulan, 2 men, they loved one another for the sake of Allah. They met for His sake, and they separated for His sake. You can't say, go visit your friend, your brother for the sake of Allah, and then you say, all right, I love you. I'm visiting you for the sake of Allah. Now bring the cards. Oh, come on. Is this really love for the sake of Allah? Loving one for the sake of Allah, that means you come to him and you remember with him the favor of Allah on you, on the iman. Recite an ayah, bring one hadith, something like this. Not to watch TV and say, Wallahi, I visited you for the sake of Allah. أوثق عرى الإيمان. That's what the Prophet said, Ura, the singular of the word Ura is this is Urwa. Some Ura are loose, like the one I have now. So if I take it to the tailor, I'll make it strong. The Prophet said, the strongest kind of button is to love for the sake of Allah and to hate for the sake of Allah. This is one of them. So it's very important. That means it's very important to love for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of those is that you love the person, loving him not but for the sake of Allah. A man was on his way visiting his brother in faith, and Allah sent for him an angel in the form of a man that intercepted him. He said, where are you going? He said, I'm going to a brother of mine for the sake of Allah. He said, is there any favor that you expect, lively, objective that you expect from him? He said, no, wallahi, no, but only because I love him for the sake of Allah. Then the angel said to him, I am a messenger from Allah who sent me specially to say to you that Allah loves you because of your love to him and because of your visit to him. This is Islam. This is Islam. So scholars have mentioned 3 categories of love. First one, who loves a special love with no hatred. There's a love that contains no hatred with it, such as loving Allah, loving the angels, loving the messengers. Second, those who hate, purely hate, by which there is no love with, and that is the kuffar. Loving them, hating them, hating the kuffar. But also, you may be grateful for the kuffar who did to you something, just like the Prophet ﷺ did to his uncle. I remember one da'iyah in America. Okay? His car fell in the river, and he doesn't know how to swim. An American man, he saw him, he stopped his car, and he went down to the river. He immediately opened the door and he saved him. And now they're friends. The brother tried many times to let him become Muslim. He refused, but they're still friends. He saved his life. So you shouldn't be saying, you can't say, oh, I hate you. You know what? I hate. Even sometimes we have a problem. Even if you hate someone, don't tell him I hate you for the sake of Allah. Give him da'wah. You have to expect people that they may become Muslim by one word. One word may cause the person to think all the night, and next day you say, I made my decision. We should not be pushing people to die in hell. Wallahi, some people are just, they're taking the role of Malik, the guard of hell. They're making themselves in life the guard of hell, the guardians of hell. Yalla, if you see kafir, yalla, kill him. That's unfair. A third category is the one whom you have love for him, but you have a hate for him at the same time, from other angle. He commits sins. He's he's a believer, but he's sinful. So you love him for what good things he has. For example, he's maintaining the prayer, etc., etc. But sometimes he has some mistakes. Like this man called, his name is Ibn Himar. What's the meaning of Himar, Habibi? Huh? What's the meaning of Himar? Himar. Donkey. Donkey. His nickname is son of Himar, son of donkey. He used to be on the suburbs of Medina. Whenever he entered Medina, he can't come to the Prophet with empty-handed. So he used to be bringing fat to the Prophet ﷺ, but by debt. So eventually the owner of the shop, he said, look, many times you've been taking things from me without paying. Whenever that man bring something to the Prophet used to laugh. Because as if the Prophet knew what's going to happen. He was revealed, told by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So eventually the man brought this man, the owner of the shop, took him to the Prophet and he said, look, this man, every time he takes fat from my shop to you, but he never pay. What shall I do now? Then this man, Ibn Himar, he said to the Prophet, oh Prophet, he can pay. So the Prophet had to pay for the gifts were given by this man. This man loves the Prophet, but he's a sinner. Many times he was brought to the Prophet ﷺ drinking, intoxicated. The Prophet said, hit him. It's punishment. So some of the narrator said, some of us hit him by his shoes, some others by his clothes. But one of them said, may Allah curse him. How many times he was brought to the Prophet while being intoxicated. Then the Prophet interfered and said, no, don't be a support to the devil against your brother. For I swear by Allah, as far as I know, that he loves Allah and His Messenger. He loves Allah and His Messenger. So the Prophet ﷺ considered the partly kind of love that he has. So the person can be having two different contradictory characteristics in him. So we love him for the good he still has, and we hate for him. That's why Abu Dharr said, don't say we hate this man, say we hate his deeds. Especially, for example, people, they were ready to become Muslims. When Khalid ibn Walid came to them, he said, Aslamtum? They said, no, we saba'na. We have ousted ourselves. And Khalid ibn Walid thought that they are ousting themselves from Islam, and he killed some of them. And when the news reached to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, oh Allah, I free myself from what Khalid ibn Walid did. He didn't say, I free myself from Khalid himself. He said, from what Khalid did, from the deed of Khalid. He didn't say, I free myself from Khalid. You free yourself from the person if he totally became disbeliever, that's another issue. But he's still believer, he still pray. Even if you see him in a nightclub, even if you see him somewhere in a nasty place, wrong places, okay, he's still our brother. And we should be approaching him in the best way. I don't want to take you longer than that. But this will be on the account of having some other courses on the same subject, الطحاوية. it is a good chance. Maybe one or two more. But it's a good chance that we gather on learning this. Inshallah, these details will be beneficial, especially they are recorded, and the other Muslims, inshallah, will be benefited. So let's stop here, inshallah. It's enough. Jazakumullah khairan. I would like to give chances for questions if you have questions. If you don't have questions, it means to me that, mashallah, your knowledge is 100% full. Just like filling the fuel of my car, 100%. But if you have this, why do you have to come? So you must be having some questions. Safiya, prepare some questions if you have. If you have any question about matters of Aqeedah.
So she mentioned love for the sake of Allah, love for your brother. What about if you think he's committing shirk or bid'ah? You love him for the brother but not for the act itself?
Are you talking about major shirk, major bid'ah, or minor shirk? No, it differs, because minor bid'ah that doesn't oust the person from Islam is just like him committing a sin as well. Okay? But the matter of bid'ah is always worst. Okay? Because the sinner, he knows that his sin is taking him more distantly from Allah, right? While the mubtadi', he commits his bid'ah and he's thanking Allah, expecting that he got closer to Allah by his innovation. And by Allah, I swear that the innovation of the innovator will drive him nothing but more distant from Allah. لا تزيد البدعة المبتدع إلا بعدا عن الله. So, same thing, whether minor shirk, minor bid'ah, it's the same. Yes.
Sheikh, just want to ask the Prophet, did he have love for his uncle Abu Talib? Did he have love for him?
This is the natural kind of love, yes.
And that wouldn't be sinful?
No. It may be sinful if the Prophet ﷺ kept asking Allah's forgiveness for him, even after the instruction was sent to him, revealed to him by Allah. It will be sin. But after that, the Prophet stopped. Because he said, I'll be seeking forgiveness for you unless I'll be ordered to stop. مَا لَمْ أُنْهَ عَنْكَ. So when he was forbadden from that, he stopped. So having a natural love, and just like what I mentioned before, there is a natural love for your kids. You have children, they may not be. This is what happened to Nuh alayhi salam. Because Nuh said to Allah after the flood terminated, he said, رب إن وعدك قال رب إن ابني وقال نوح رب إن ابني من أهلي. Nuh said, oh Allah, my son is of my family, and you promised me. وإن وعدك الحق, and your promise is a promise of truth. قال يا نوح إنه ليس من أهلك. He is not of your family. إنه عمل غير صالح. It is not a righteous action. فلا تسألني ما ليس لك به علم إني أعظك أن تكون من الجاهلين. So do not ask me what you have no knowledge about. I admonish you that you may be one of those ignorants. قال رب إني أعوذ بك أن أسألك ما ليس لي به علم. Then Nuh said, I seek refuge with Allah that I may ask you something that I have no knowledge about. وإلا تغفر لي وإن لم تغفر لي وترحمني أكن من الخاسرين. And if you do not forgive me and grant me mercy from among yourself, I'll be one of the losers. So you can see that there is a kind of love which motivated Nuh alayhi salam to ask Allah, didn't you promise me? As if he's asking Allah to exempt his son, to return him, to give him life back. He's his son, and there's a promise. But now he was told that the promise of Allah does not include those wrongdoers. So there is a considered kind of love, but it shouldn't be exceeding the limits. Okay? Doesn't Ibrahim love his son, Ismail? When the order was given, he proceeded what Allah loves over what Ibrahim loves. So that shows when the love of Allah will be intercepted by loving someone, then we disconsider. Even if we have something, it will be neglected. When it will be intercepting with something has to do with Allah's love. Clear, inshallah?
Yeah, it is clear. It's very hard though.
Yeah.
For example, the Prophet ﷺ's mother, Amina, the story of her is so beautiful, and I heard a narration where the Prophet went to one place where his mother was and he cried. So you know that it's very hard.
That also proves the love. He said, when he found the grave of his mother, ﷺ, he ordered the companions to be away, and he cried a lot. The companions described his crying that it is not normal, not as normal kind of crying. And he said to them, I have sought permission from Allah that I seek forgiveness for my mother. He did not permit me. Then I sought his permission to visit her grave. Then he permitted me. So visit the graves, for it reminds the hereafter. It reminds you the hereafter. So, unlike what some people, I don't know, mention their names, they say, no, there are narrations that the Prophet ﷺ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revived his parents and they became Muslims and then they died. But that's not true. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, as for those disbelievers who died in their disbelief, Allah will not be forgiving them. This ayah is very clear. But there are false narrations that say that Allah revived them, etc., etc. And it is not true, because all the disbelievers will be saying, oh Allah, why didn't you give us that chance you gave to the father and the mother of Rasulullah? Why only them, not us?
Is that God's justice?
Is that justice? So this hadith is Sahih Muslim, that he sought permission. Okay, now do they belong to the people of Fatra? We have no knowledge. We keep it. We keep it away. We don't talk about it. Did they have some, because there used to be some remnants of the message of Ibrahim. That's why there used to be pilgrimage, everything. In Sahih Muslim that Quraysh used to be fasting Ashura. Do you know that? And that the Prophet was fasting Ashura while he was in Mecca, before he was given the prophethood. Yes. So this is something, since the Prophet did not tell us about, we keep it. Okay? We leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But did they die, the father and the mother, as kuffar? Did they die on Islam? Abu Hanifa, in his Al-Fiqh Al-Absat, he said, in one of the matters of Aqeedah, he mentioned, and that the father and the mother of the Prophet died as kafir. I saw manuscripts, very old Hanafi, writing for this. They changed it. They twisted it. They didn't like it from Abu Hanifa. Believe me. There is another hadith in Sahih Muslim that a man, the Prophet was a bit angry because they kept asking the Prophet nonsense questions sometimes. The Prophet said, you don't ask me any question, but I will answer you. Go ahead. About lively issues. So one of the companions said, oh Prophet, where's my father? He said, your father is in hell. Now, when we quote this hadith to those people, they say, the Prophet was in a state of anger, he was not on the mood. What? The Prophet was not on the mood? So if the Prophet is not on the mood, he speaks nonsense? He speaks untruthfully words? What are you talking about? What refutes their claim is that in the same narration, the Prophet said to his companions, call the man for me. When they called him, he said, my father and your father are in hell. So was he also angry? No. It's true, the Prophet said, my father is in hell. So if someone asks me, is the father of the Prophet in hell? I say yes. This is what the Prophet... Look, don't say you are impolite, you are insulting the father of the Prophet. This, I took it from the Prophet himself. It's not from me. You have to be realistic. Okay, some people are not really, they're not ready for being realistic. They just emotionally take things. The Prophet said it. I'll be impolite if I disagree with the Prophet, if I say something other than what the Prophet said. In this, yes, I'll be impolite. وصلى الله وسلم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. That's enough, inshallah.
So just one.
You won't finish? I know you.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Just tell me, I'm asking innocently, but we are supposed to feel remorseful about the Prophet's parents. We're not supposed to be happy about it. We're supposed to feel remorseful.
We are remorseful about everyone that die and Jannah loses him. And Jannah loses him. That's why you should be feeling remorseful for those people whom you're living with and you don't give them da'wah. Tahih. Jazakallah khairan. Barakallah fiik.
You know the hadith about Sunnah Hasana? Sorry. Did he, that was that regarding the Sunnah as linguistic, not the Sunnah
Taban.
of...
That's why this is a good point. So Umar used the linguistic meaning of bid'ah as the Prophet used the linguistic meaning of sunnah. Okay? Because is there any bad sunnah for Rasulullah?
No.
So the Prophet used it linguistically. So Umar was using linguistically the word bid'ah. And that's what even as-Subki said, even the Ash'ari scholars said, that Umar was using the linguistic meaning of the word bid'ah. That means the thing that had been started to be done by who? By the Prophet. Which is what? Salat al-Tarawih. Who started it? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Any other question? This will be the last question, please, because
Do we believe anything like...
Because I'm hungry.
Anything between Jannah and Jahannam?
Hey, Safiya, I got something yummy for you. Yeah.
Is there anything in the middle between Jannah and Jahannam? Like, I heard some Araf, something, anything in the middle? Or
What do you mean, something in the middle?
is there anything in the middle between heaven and hell?
What do you mean? You have to explain to me. What is the thing? If someone said to you, there's something between. Okay, I'm ready to answer you, but tell me, what do you mean by this? What? Street?
Another place.
Street? Buildings?
Like a place, a separate place.
Allahu A'lam, I don't know. You have to tell me what.
I just heard something like
We don't speak without knowledge. Okay? Get back to them and ask them, what do you mean by that? Then come to me. Then I'll answer you. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. صفية الله يحفظكم الله يحفظكم حياكم الله صفية